Welcome to the Lord Lyon Hard-Core YouTube channel. When the lion roar, everyone listen. My name is Lord Lyon. I am here to speak truth to power and to put things into context by presenting facts with integrity and honesty. We will be presenting athletes and other prominent figures in our society who we believe would have reached hardcore status. Our criteria for hardcore status includes looking for the tangibles that outlines the person's achievements of excellence. Our persons and discipline of interest in this third episode are from the NBA: Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and LeBron James.
Some months ago, Michael Jordan came out with a documentary which he called The Last Dance. Now we know how great a player Michael Jordan was. Scottie Pippen was his wingman, as they call it. Scottie Pippen criticized The Last Dance because he felt that The Last Dance only promoted Michael Jordan and not his other team players. Now, Scottie Pippen is most qualified to criticize Michael Jordan, but he should have known that criticizing Michael Jordan in America is almost as if you're committing suicide. Nevertheless, I commend Scottie Pippen for being a real man. And if he felt that something was wrong, he had that right. Because Scottie Pippen have 6 rings, just like Michael had 6 rings. And Michael Jordan 6 rings didn't come without Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen 6 rings didn't come without Michael Jordan. But the hypocrisy is this. They always say to us, all the pundits, defense win championship. Well, if defense win championship, Scottie Pippen was over defense. Michael Jordan was over offense. How can, at the end of the day, you glorify the offense over the defense when you have been touting all the time, defense win championship, defense win championship? So that is what Scottie Pippen is saying. I was over defense, and all that we were able to achieve, I have to have a greater input, because I did. But they get at Scottie Pippen and call him hater, he's jealous, and all sort of things. One of the points that Scottie Pippen made was that Michael Jordan received over $10 million for this documentary. And Scottie Pippen, Harris Grant, Craig Hodges, and others didn't receive a penny. Can that be justified? Can that be fair? Scottie Pippen have the right to criticize Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan wasn't able to achieve anything without Scottie Pippen, Phil Jackson, and the others. Outside that comfort zone for the Bulls, Michael Jordan didn't achieve anything. So Scottie Pippen have that right. So for Charles Barkley and the others, who would have come in now and say, Scottie Pippen wasn't this, Scottie Pippen wasn't that? It's not true. They know who Scottie Pippen was and the load that Scottie Pippen carried during that time. Let me make a comparison here to say who Scottie Pippen was. There was a guy from the NFL, a linebacker they call Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor was the baddest thing to ever grace a football field. That they say that Lawrence Taylor was a man that There was none before him, and there will be none after. That's how great he was. And that's who Scottie Pippen was to the NBA. Scottie Pippen, in terms of his defense, was the Lawrence Taylor of the NBA. So for them to come now and trying to minimize Scottie Pippen's contribution to the Bulls is a lie, and it's unfair. They know how great a player Scottie Pippen was, and Scottie Pippen carried the load for all them years. He and Craig Hodges, and Horace Grant, and others. When Phil Jackson had to sit out Michael Jordan, when Michael Jordan was getting into his tantrum with his selfish play. And that's why Scottie Pippen said Michael Jordan is selfish. And look what he did with The Last Dance. Promote himself and leave the others behind. And that's what Scottie Pippen is saying. And they want to say Scottie Pippen is a hater and he's jealous. Not true. He's just speaking truth to power. The reality is, Michael Jordan wasn't able to accomplish nothing without Scottie Pippen. And Scottie Pippen is more than qualified to say what he says. Now, Charles Barkley and others who would have said Scottie Pippen don't have the right. Charles Barkley and others, they are underachievers when it comes to Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen have 6 rings. They don't have nothing to show for the years that they would have played on a different team. The only people who can stand in the same room with Scottie Pippen or across the room from Scottie Pippen is folks like Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, and so on. But not Charles Barkley and Kevin Garnett. They're underachievers. But the thing that they don't like with Scottie Pippen speak the truth every time. Some months ago, Scottie Pippen said, long before the Last Dance came out, that LeBron James is a better team player than Michael Jordan. And he thinks that LeBron James is the GOAT. And that is what hurt them the most. Because LeBron James would have come out, didn't go to college. And because Scottie Pippen is saying that LeBron James is a better player than Michael Jordan, we're not talking about personal achievement here, and personal skill set. It's what you would have done. Now, LeBron James came out of high school, didn't go to college to benefit from that coaching staff that they have in college. Those coaching college teach you the basics, the fundamentals, so to speak. LeBron James wasn't able to experience that, but he came into the NBA and lived up to the hype. What we are saying, LeBron James was able to achieve more with less. And what I mean by that, because he didn't benefit from that coaching in college, but he came into the NBA and lived up to the hype by going to the Cleveland Cavaliers, take them to the finals, but when he realized, look, I need more help here. So he left the Cleveland Cavaliers and he went to the Miami Heat, joined with Dwayne Wade and others. Won 2 championships there. Take them to the finals several times. And then he returned to Cleveland Cavaliers because he think that he owed them something. Take them to the final and win a championship there. He didn't stop there. He left Cleveland Cavaliers, went to Los Angeles Lakers, win another championship there. That is to say, wherever LeBron James goes, he takes championship with him. That is to say, he makes a difference wherever he goes. In different culture, different coach, different players, it doesn't matter. He is what we call in mathematics the common denominator. And that's to show that he is a real champion. So Scottie Pippen was perfectly right. I'm going to make an example here, because I can make a reference. Tom Brady. Tom Brady, we know, is the GOAT of the NFL. Without, hands down, without no argument. So we can say Tom Brady is the GOAT. Undisputed. We're going to make a comparison. Tom Brady played for the New England Patriots under the coach Bill Belichick. He left Bill Belichick. When he left, the media was all over Tom Brady. Tom Brady is washed up. Tom Brady is old and all sorts of things. But Tom Brady didn't listen to them because he know what he's capable of. He went and played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The first season, he won a championship with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. To prove to them that coach doesn't matter, players doesn't matter. I am the one who makes the difference. Michael Jordan can't say that, because outside of Scottie Pippen and Phil Jackson and others, he wasn't able to achieve anything. But LeBron James can say that. Coach doesn't matter. Players doesn't matter. I am the common denominator here. Wherever I go, the championship go. So how can you say that Michael Jordan is all this and all that, and they call him basketball god and Black Jesus? It's falsehood, because he don't have the tangibles to support that kind of argument. LeBron James, on the other hand, can say wherever I go, I win championship under different coaches, different players, different culture. Tom Brady can say the same. So when you go to talk about the GOAT conversation, Tom Brady, LeBron James. No Michael Jordan, he don't have the tangibles, because without his perfect environment, he wasn't able to achieve anything. The reality is this. They keep touting that Michael Jordan win 6 straight championships. It's a lie. It's not true. It's a falsehood. Michael Jordan win 6 championships, but it wasn't 6 straight championships. After 3 championships, he felt that his IQ was so special that he went and played baseball. And was a total failure. So for 2 years, he was playing baseball, but he failed. And there's where Akeem Olajuwon and the team and their team came in and won 2 championships there. So for them to be saying that Michael wins 6 straight championships, they're only deceiving the younger generation who didn't know. And they keep touting that and nobody put a stop to it. It's not true. There was a gap of 2 years there. And then he came back with Scottie Pippen and Phil Jackson and so on, Harris Grant and all of them, and win 3 more championships. But there was a gap there. So it's not no 3 straight championships like how they want to put it. But the younger generation don't know. And this is the deception from time to time. The reality is, Oscar Robertson, who we know, was the walking triple-double when it comes to basketball, would have said LeBron James is the player that he see as being the greatest. But you think they told that? And we know how capable Oscar Robertson was until Westbrook came and dismantled his record of triple-double. But Oscar Robertson is more than qualified to say what he says, because we know that Oscar Robertson knows the game to the T. But we can go on further to say this. LeBron James stands supreme. You know why? Because he came and he said when he was young, he idolized Michael Jordan. And nothing at all wrong with idolizing someone. But when he came into the league, he didn't try to imitate Michael Jordan. He was his own man. He did everything different to Michael Jordan and was able to achieve more. Now, we can look at somebody like Kobe Bryant, and we know how good Kobe Bryant was. But the asterisk that is on Kobe Bryant's legacy is that he do everything like Michael Jordan. He walk like Michael Jordan. He talk like Michael Jordan. He plays like Michael Jordan. And he create a problem because when they talk about Kobe Bryant, we say, oh, he do everything like Michael Jordan. LeBron didn't do that even though he said that Michael was his idol. Now we're going to make a comparison here with Tom Brady again. Tom Brady came into the league and Tom Brady would have said, look, Joe Montana is my idol. But he was able to eclipse Joe Montana's achievement. Nothing at all wrong with that. All of us have somebody that we idolize. But he came and did above and beyond what Joe Montana would have done. The reality is, he showed that he was his own man. And that's what LeBron James did. So Tom Brady can say, look, I've done it with Bill Belichick, and I've done it without Bill Belichick. LeBron can say, look, I've done it with Dwayne Wade, and I've done it without Dwayne Wade. I've done it with Kyrie Irving at Cleveland, and I've done it without Kyrie Irving. I've done it with Davis at Los Angeles, and I've done it without Davis. Michael Jordan cannot say that. Michael Jordan cannot say, I've done it with Scottie Pippen, and I've done it without Scottie Pippen. Or I have done it with Phil Jackson, and I've done it without Phil Jackson. As a matter of fact, Phil Jackson is Michael Jordan's coach. And Phil Jackson is one of the better coach, if not the GOAT, of the NBA when it comes to coaching. Phil Jackson have something like about 11 rings. So when the GOAT conversation come up with Phil Jackson and Pat Riley and so on, and somebody wants to say, look, it's because you had Michael Jordan why you win 6 of those rings. Phil Jackson can say, no. I've done it with Michael, and I've done it without Michael. Michael cannot say that. He cannot say he have done it with Phil Jackson and he have done it without Phil Jackson. That's the difference with LeBron James and Tom Brady. Because coach doesn't make a difference with them. They are the one that make the difference, not the coach. Michael Jordan come up short when you talk about that. So that's the difference we are saying. LeBron James is able to stand on his own and, as we say, was able to achieve more with less. The reality is, when we talk about a player and how skillful a player is, yeah, we know how skillful Michael Jordan was and how he could play so good and everything, and, you know, his skill set was superior. But we're talking about a team sport. It's not golf. It's not tennis. And so on we're talking about. We're talking about team sport, what you're able to accomplish with the team that you go to, not your individual achievement. That's not what we're saying. And that's why we can proudly say LeBron James stands supreme as the GOAT because he's undisputed. Michael Jordan is not undisputed. Scottie Pippen is calling for his pound of flesh, and rightfully so. So all this argument about who is the GOAT of the NBA, we are shutting it down now. Because the reality is, Michael Jordan came out with this last dance at this time because he always wanted to be in the GOAT conversation when he's not. He don't have the tangibles. He wants to win on LeBron James' parade. But Scottie Pippen shut it down. And that's all what we want to say now. LeBron is the GOAT. Undisputed GOAT. Michael cannot be. Because when you ask his ex-team players, Harris Grant said that Michael Jordan was a bully. Charles Oakley said that he used to play with Michael Jordan, and even when he was open, Michael Jordan would never pass the ball to him. So that is saying that he preferred to play with LeBron James than Michael Jordan. Robert Parrish was asked about Michael Jordan. He said Michael Jordan is arrogant to a fault. I mean, say, how much conversation you would want to hold with everybody that have something negative? Because we know Michael Jordan was arrogant. It was all about him. So when Scottie Pippen said Michael Jordan is selfish, you calling Scottie Pippen a hater? And we know it's not true. The fact remains is because of his selfishness why he went and played baseball. Right? And he failed. But we have other folks who would have left the NFL. We have a guy by the name of Prime Time who win 2 championships with different teams. Right? Who play baseball and football at an MVP level. Right? And then we have another guy that we call Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson play football and baseball at an MVP level. So you're talking about IQ. It's the Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson would have done it and done it successfully. But Michael Jordan failed. So we're not going to talk about IQ. We know LeBron James have the highest IQ of all of them, even though he didn't go to college and get that special coaching that we know that, you know, all these other athletes in the NBA got. And that's why LeBron James is the undisputed GOAT of the NBA. Thank you.
When the Lion roar, everyone listen. Please subscribe to the Lord Lyon Hard-Core